It's a cold January night. You're with your friend John walking home from a party. You have a slight buzz going on, but overall still have your wits about you. Your friend, on the other hand, is just flat out drunk, acting like a complete idiot and making tons of noise. You're walking down one of the more secluded blocks in your neighborhood, Drew Avenue, which is relatively close to your houses. Your friend starts complaining, claiming that his bladder is about to explode all of a sudden. You tell him to wait as you're almost home, but he says he can't make it. His complaining continues as you pass by a vacant house. In fact, this house has been uninhabited for years now, ever since the owner of the house and his daughter were stabbed to death by an intruder. Everybody in the neighborhood knows about it. It wouldn't leave the local newspapers for weeks. There have also been a disturbingly high amount of disappearances in town ever since that event, and rumors circulate that it has something to do with this house. The strange thing about it, though, is that the two victims who own the house were missing their heads, and to this day their skulls haven't been found. Since John literally looks like he's about to pee his pants, you suggest that he just go on this lawn, but the thought of somebody watching comes to mind, so you suggest that he goes in the backyard. Without a reply, he runs to the old wooden gate and latches it open. It shuts with a loud bang behind him, and you're left alone in the night in the middle of the road. You sit down on the curb, waiting, when you hear the sound of a front door closing. You turn around to see somebody approaching you from the neighboring house. It's an elderly woman. She tells you that she heard the gate to the backyard of the empty house slam shut. You try to think of a quick excuse or lie, but she picks up on your stammering and tells you not to even bother lying. She says that she doesn't care what you do, but that you and your friend should simply stay away for your own safety. After all, there have been a lot of disappearances in town lately. Something about the way she says that gives off an eerie vibe. It doesn't seem like she sincerely cares about your safety, and what the hell could she mean by that? For your own safety? You open your mouth to respond, but she gives you no time. She turns around and slowly walks back to her house, shutting the door behind her. You're left alone again by the curb, confused and creeped out. There seemed to be something off about that lady, but she probably has to deal with trespassers all the time, being the neighbor to this old house. But what kind of old lady stays up this late at night? It's almost 1 in the morning. You continue waiting, now continuously glancing at the old lady's house to see if she's watching you through the window. She isn't. John's been gone for a while now. He should have been back by now. You don't want to call his name to draw even more attention to yourself. Maybe you should just walk home. John's 21 years old. He doesn't need you to walk him home. But he is pretty drunk. John's really drunk right now. He might have even passed out. You have to go check on him. You make your way to the wooden gate and reach for the latch, unlocking it. You push open the gate and call out John's name in a quiet yell. There's no response. It's too dark to see anything back here, so you take out your phone and turn on its flashlight. You shine the light around the whole perimeter of the yard. The whole fence is covered by tall bushes, giving the yard a really private and secluded feeling. You notice an old backyard playground, with the slide, swing set, and all. The swings were broken off and lay on the ground, though. You notice graffiti sprayed on the slide and on the roof of the playground. John isn't in the playground. You shine the light to the ground all across the yard, revealing tons of litter scattered across the place. Mostly beer cans and bottles. But no John. You call out his name again, this time a little louder, but still nothing. You turn and shine the light across the back wall of the house to reveal even more graffiti. You move the light down the wall, revealing the back door of the house. It's open. Damn it, you say to yourself. John must have thought it would be a good idea to check the place out. You take out your phone and dial his number, in hopes to get him out without having to go into this house. Then, breaking the silence, you can hear the sound of John's loud ringtone coming from inside the house. It continues to ring, but he doesn't pick up. You slowly walk towards the door and stop right by the outside, poking your head in through the doorway and calling John's name. He doesn't respond. You step into the house and slowly walk towards the ringtone. You shine the light around the room, revealing old, torn-up furniture scattered across the room. There's a bookshelf that seems to have been toppled over on the ground, and sitting on top of it is a broken chandelier. You shine the light up to the ceiling to reveal the chain that once held it up. In the back corner of the room, you notice a bunch of tools laying on the floor. A few screwdrivers, a hammer, and a pair of pliers. That's very odd. This is a place that's cool to explore during the day, but at a time like this, it's just a nightmare. The floorboards creak as you approach the sound of John's ringtone. It gets louder and louder until it stops. You're almost afraid to call John's name again. You redial his number and it says calling John on your phone, but there's no ringtone. His phone must be on, otherwise he would have gotten voicemail. The ringtone seemed to have been coming from the next room over, which appears to be the living room. You make your way out of the den-like room and into the living room. There was a stairwell leading to the upstairs of the house, and across from that, the front door. Shining the light on the front door, however, you notice that it's been boarded up with 2 planks. That's rather strange. Suddenly, your phone's flashlight turns off, and the dead battery image appears on your screen. You've been so distracted that you've completely forgotten how low your battery has gotten. You call John's name again, but in a very quiet, whispery-like yell. Almost immediately, you hear the sound of the floorboard creak. It came from the top of the stairs. You can't see who it is in this complete darkness. You say John's name again, this time in a complete whisper, but there's no response. It has to be John. Who else could it be? You make your way to the bottom of the stairs, stumbling a bit in the dark. You struggle to connect your feet to the steps in the dark as you slowly ascend. As you near the top of the stairs, the silhouette of a man comes into view, standing at the top of the stairs. "John, is that you?" you ask with a shake in your voice. After climbing the final 2 steps, the figure becomes more clear. It is John. You try to grab his arm to pull him out of the place, but you notice his facial expression. His mouth is hanging open and there's obvious fear in his eyes that are looking at something down the hallway. You turn to try and see what he's looking at, but can't at first, it's too dark. "John, what do you see?" you ask. John says something that sends a chill down your spine. "Let's go, now." You continue to stare down the hall, frozen with fear. Something's coming. You back up towards the stairs, clutching John's arm. You're ready to pull his drunk ass down the stairs when something comes into view from down the hall. It almost looks like the shadow of a crawling man. You notice that John's holding his phone. You suddenly have the far-fetched idea that whoever is coming towards you could have something to do with the murders that happened in this house. You could catch a quick picture of whatever is coming towards you and be out the back door within seconds. This could be your chance to be heroes. This guy might be the murderer of the father and daughter that lived in this house. You snatch John's phone out of his hands and switch to the camera app. The thumping sounds are getting closer as you wait for the camera app to load. Finally, the red button at the bottom appears and you snap a picture down the hall to the approaching man, and the camera light flashes for a split second. But that split second is enough to reveal that this thing is not a man, or a human for that matter. That brief moment of light revealed something more of a crawling humanoid creature with long, skinny arms and a tannish brown complexion. The creature lets out an ear-piercing scream, a scream of agony, something that you wouldn't hear from any animal known to man. John was already down the stairs, fleeing to the back door. You follow his trail back down to the den. The creature is still upstairs, letting out the demonic screaming. You make it down the stairs to be greeted by John, banging on the glass of the sliding glass door. It's been shut by somebody. You push him aside and try to open it, but it won't budge. It's been jammed with something on the other side. You turn on the flashlight on John's phone and search the room for anything to break the glass with. The screaming from upstairs stops, and you hear rapid thumping sounds coming from upstairs. The thing is coming down. You then remember the hammer in the corner of the room with the stray tools. Stepping through the mess on the floor, you grab the hammer and hurry back to the door. It takes a few swings before the glass finally shatters, and you and John make your escape from the house. The two of you hurry to the gate and try to find the latch. While John struggles to find the latch to the gate, you turn around and shine the light down behind you to reveal yet another horrifying sight. An old woman is standing in the back corner of the yard staring at the two of you. The old lady from next door. You shove John out of the way and find the latch to the gate. You pull it open and the two of you make a mad dash out from the yard and down the streets. The two of you run all the way back to your house, back to safety. The two of you review the picture to reveal razor-sharp claws on the creature. The homeowner and his daughter weren't stabbed by knives. They were clawed to death by this thing. The two of you hypothesize that the creature hides in the dark and is somehow hurt by light, hence its reaction to the light of the camera flash. But the old lady, why was she in that backyard? You have yet to figure this out. Luckily though, you've escaped with not only your lives, but also with evidence. Evidence of that creature that lives in there. Even if it's not very credible, it should definitely warrant another police investigation of the house. Well, hopefully.